Hey guys, welcome back to another voiceover video. Today we will be finishing the 32 quarterbacks from each team. But I am very stupid. In the last video I did 17 players instead of 16, and I was going to do 16 for each video. So now I'll have to do the rest of the 15 for this video. I'm sorry guys. And also for the Mitchell Trubisky one, I didn't edit out the volume. I'm also sorry about that one. So this will be the last 15 players, and let's just start right now. The first player for this video is going to be a player from Wyoming and current Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. In his last year at Wyoming, he had 152 completions for 1,812 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He was drafted number 7 overall by the Bills in the 2018 draft. In his rookie year, he went 5-6 with having more interceptions than touchdowns. But last year, he went 10-6 with 271 completions, 3,089 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He made it to the playoffs but lost to Watson's Texans in the overtime. This was his second year in the NFL, and he made the playoffs. Since he is very young, and he could go beyond a division of the playoffs or possibly Super Bowl sometime. The next best quarterback is a quarterback from North Carolina State and current Colts quarterback Philip Rivers. In his last year at college, he had 348 completions for 4,491 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He finished 7th in the Heisman voting. He was drafted 4 overall by the New York Giants in 2004. He was traded to San Diego without even playing a game at New York. He went 14-2 in his third year, 11-5 in his fourth year, 13-3 in his sixth year, and then 12-4 in 2018. But last year he went 5-11 with 390 completions, 4,615 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions. This guy will definitely be a Hall of Famer, but he was traded to the Colts this offseason, and he's getting old, so this will probably be the end for him. The next player on this list is a quarterback from California and current quarterback for the Rams, Jared Goff. In his last year at Cal, he had 341 completions for 4,714 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. He was drafted number 1 overall by the Rams the following year. He went 11-4 in his second year, 13-3 in his third, and lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots that year. But last year he went 9-7 with 394 completions for 4,638 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. They didn't make the playoffs, but I promise you they will again and dominate sometime again. The next player on this list is a quarterback from Michigan State and current Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins. In his last year being a Spartan, he had 267 completions for 3,316 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He would be drafted in the 4th round, 102nd overall by the Washington Redskins the following year. In his rookie year, he played in 3 games and had a record of 1-0, with 33 completions, 466 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He played with the Redskins for 6 years and then was traded to the Vikings. He went 8-7-1 the first year, but last year he went 10-5 with 307 completions, 3,603 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Beating the Saints was a big win, but they lost in the division of the 49ers. Kirk Cousins could lead the Vikings to the Super Bowl someday, and honestly, I think he will. The 11th player on this list is a quarterback from Boston College and current quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan. In his last year at BC, he had 388 completions for 4,507 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 19 interceptions, finishing 3rd in the Heisman voting. The next year, he was drafted number 3 overall by the Falcons. He went 11-5 his first year, 9-5 his second year, 13-3 his third year, 10-6 his fourth year, 13-3 in his fifth year, 11-5 in his 8th year, while winning the MVP that year and also blowing a 23 lead in the Super Bowl. 10-6 in the next year, but last year he went 7-8 with 408 completions for 4,466 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. He has 51,186 career passing yards, 321 career touchdowns, and 147 career interceptions. Those are stats that will make him a Hall of Famer, no doubt. The 10th player on this list is a quarterback from North Dakota State and current Philadelphia Eagle Carson Wentz. In his last year at NDS, he had 130 completions for 1,651 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. The next year, he was drafted number 2 overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. He finished 7-9 his rookie year, 11-2 in his second year. They won the Super Bowl this year, but he got injured at the end of the season, and Nick Foles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Last year, he went 9-7 with 388 completions, 4,039 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Again, he got injured during the playoffs, but this time he was not carried to the Super Bowl and lost to the Seahawks. If he stays healthy for a whole season, they really could make a run for the Super Bowl. The 9th player on this list is a quarterback from Oklahoma and current Cardinal Kyler Murray. In his last year at OU, he had 260 completions for 4,361 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions while winning the Heisman. He was drafted number 1 overall by the Cardinals the following year. In his rookie year, he went 5-10-1 with 349 completions, 3,722 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Not a real good rookie season, but he's still young, and now with DeAndre Hopkins, I think they will be a contender sometime soon. The 8th player on this list is a quarterback from Mississippi State and current Cowboy Dak Prescott. In his last year at Mississippi State, he had 316 completions for 3,793 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. The next year, the Cowboys took him in the 4th round, 135th overall. 13-3 in his first year, 9-7 in his second, 10-6 in his third year. But last year, he went 8-8 with 388 completions for 4,902 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. This wasn't enough to make the playoffs, but if they continue to play good in the season and win games in the playoffs, then they may have a ring someday. The 7th player on this list is a quarterback from Clemson and current quarterback for the Texans, Deshaun Watson. In his last year at Clemson, he had 338 completions for 4,593 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. This year, he beat Alabama in the national championship. He was drafted number 12 overall by the Texans the next year. He went 3-3 in his rookie year, 11-5 his second, and last year he went 10-5 with 333 completions for 3,852 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He made the playoffs by beating the Bills in overtime, but lost to the Chiefs. He has potential to make it to the Super Bowl, but it didn't help by trading the best wide receiver in the NFL to a different team. The 6th player on this list is a quarterback from Purdue and current Saints quarterback Drew Brees. In his last year at Purdue, he had 309 completions for 3,668 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He finished 4th in the Heisman voting in 1999 and 3rd in 2000. He was drafted number 32 overall by the Chargers, 8-8 in his second year, 11-4 his fourth year, 9-7 his fifth year, then was traded to the Saints, 10-6 his sixth year, 8-8 his eighth year, 13-2 his ninth year, 11-5 his 10th year. He won the Super Bowl this year. 13-3 his 11th year, 11-5 his 13th year, 11-5 in his 17th year, 13-2 his 18th year, which they were robbed by a no call. But last year he went 8-3 with 281 completions, 2,979 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. This was enough to make the playoffs, but they lost to the Vikings. He is no doubt a Hall of Famer already, but he could try to make another run before having to retire. The 5th player on this list is a quarterback from Wisconsin and current quarterback for the Seahawks, Russell Wilson. In his last year at Wisconsin, he had 225 completions for 3,175 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, while finishing 9th in the Heisman voting. He was drafted number 75 overall the next year by the Seahawks. He won 11-5 his first year, 13-3 his second year, while winning the Super Bowl this year, 12-4 his third year, losing the Super Bowl to the Patriots, 10-6 his fourth year, 10-5-1 his fifth year, 9-7 his sixth year, 10-6 his seventh year. But last year he went 11-5 for 341 completions, 4,110 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. They lost in the division to the Packers, but in his career he has 29,734 career passing yards, 227 touchdowns, and 68 interceptions. 100% Hall of Fame stats. He also has never missed a game in his whole career. The 4th player on this list is a QB from Michigan and current QB for the Buccaneers, Tom Brady. In his last year in Michigan, he had 180 completions for 2,217 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He was drafted 199th overall in the 6th round by the Patriots. He won an 11-3 his second year while winning the Super Bowl, 9-7 his third year, 14-2 his fourth year while winning the Super Bowl, 14-2 his fifth year also winning the Super Bowl, 10-6 his sixth year, 12-4 his seventh year, 16-0 his 8th year while losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl. He won MVP. 10-6 his 9th year. 14-2 his 10th year while winning MVP. 13-3 in his 11th year. 12-4 his 10th year. 12-4 his 11th year. 12-4 his 12th year while winning the Super Bowl. 12-4 his 13th year. 11-1 his 14th year while winning the Super Bowl over the Falcons. 13-3 his 15th year while winning MVP. 11-5 his 16th year while winning the Super Bowl again. But last year, in his 17th year, he went 12-4 with 373 completions for 4,057 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He has a career total of 6,377 career completions, 74,571 career yards, which is a record, 541 career touchdowns, which is also a record, and 179 interceptions. He has been to 9 Super Bowls and only won, not only, he's won 6. But no matter how much you hate him, he's going to be known as the greatest of all time in the NFL. The third player on this list is a QB from Louisville and current QB for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. In his last year at Louisville, he had 254 completions for 3,660 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He won the Heisman for this year, but finished 3rd this year. He was drafted number 32 overall by the Ravens the next year, going 6-1 his rookie year, then absolutely dominating the next year, and going 13-2 with 265 completions for 3,127 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, over 1,000 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns rushing. He also won the MVP in a landslide. They got knocked out by the Titans in the divisional, but that will not be the last you see of them. They will win a Super Bowl soon, no doubt about that. The second player is a QB from California and current QB for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. In his last year at California, he had 209 completions for 2,566 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, while finishing 9th in the Heisman voting. He was taken number 24 overall the next year by the Packers. He went 11-5 his 5th year, 10-5 his 6th year, 14-1 his 7th year while winning the Super Bowl and MVP, 11-5 his 8th year, 12-4 his 10th year while winning MVP, 10-6 his 11th year, 10-6 again his 12th year, but last year in his 13th year, he went 13-3 with 353 completions, 4,002 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He lost to the 49ers in the conference championship, but Rodgers is getting up there in age, but we could still try to see him make another run for the Super Bowl. If he doesn't, that's okay. He's still going to be a Hall of Famer anyway, with a career of 46,946 career yards, 364 touchdowns, and 84 interceptions. The best quarterback in the NFL right now is from Texas Tech and current Chief Patrick Mahomes. In his last year at Tech, he had 388 completions for 5,052 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He was drafted 10th overall the next year by the Chiefs. Only played in one game his rookie season, but 12-4 the next year while winning MVP with 5,097 yards and 50 touchdowns. But last year he went 11-3 with 319 completions for 4,031 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. This would seem to be enough considering they won the Super Bowl over the 49ers, also winning MVP for that game. And I promise you, without a doubt, that is not the only Super Bowl they're going to win. I promise you, they could become a dynasty one day, and Mahomes will definitely be a Hall of Famer. And with that concludes ranking all the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. More game highlights will be coming back. Also, put in the comment section if I should go back to doing player highlights again. I had an idea of doing like 2 game highlights, then one of these voiceovers, and then a career player highlight. Because those are the only videos I get views on. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.